Hey, this is Montana De Jesus, and this is the Window Sex Project segment. Throughout the country, there has been sexual harassment against women. A project named the Window Sex Project expresses the feeling of sexual harassment through dance. And the movement in the dancers' bodies display what women may go through when they walk down the street. As a female, I have experienced sexual harassment, especially in the Manhattan area. The terms used against me, such as light skin, affect the way I feel every day. And the harassment against women may be based on men's insecurities or trying to gain attention from others. So the Window Sex Project evaluates the issues of sexual harassment that affects all women. So without further ado, the Window Sex Project.
Window Sex Project is a dance theater work that addresses and tackles street harassment. The idea of, or not the idea, but the everyday action in which men, mostly men, will catcall or leer or stalk or follow or grope or any of those types of actions at women on the street. The Window Sex Project is about responding to those actions through dance because it uses our bodies, which is the site of harassment, as a way to respond. I called it the Window Sex Project because I felt like when I walked on the street, I was being window shopped as a sexual object. So I felt as if, I was just a plastic object, or, I was just the sum of my parts for someone to look at. And that's how the title came about. This project came about because of two things that were happening simultaneously. One was just a creative desire to create a piece that was very specific and dynamic and very sexy. And at the same time, I was experiencing a lot of instances of harassment on the street. And I felt that the two things could come together in order to address the issue. There are a lot of different sources for harassment that happens in public spaces. One of the sources I think is generally just a power issue, about folks feeling a need or a want to stake their claim and to exert power in a certain way. And I think men on the street, a lot of times, it's about, being able to exert power over women that pass by. It's about showcasing their bravado amongst the other guys that are hanging with them on the street. I think in the media, we see images of ourselves that we can't necessarily replicate, or that we try to ascribe to, but they aren't real. But we don't necessarily see validation of ourselves as we are. And so I think that, coupled with the harassments and things that are happening on the street, it can really make for an emotionally difficult situation sometimes for women.
Bodegas, they feel it's cool to make comment. It's not serious, just a joke. I only spoke, girl, don't get delirious. But to a woman, those gazes make her common walk a strut. She becomes a billboard, parading a butt. Forget magazine fashion spreads entirely. She'll be judged anew by hecklers, just because she has a vagina. Is this what the world has become for us now? Can we sleep, raise our children, while our culture runs sour?
You know, how women are dressed or how they present themselves. We are on a very slippery slope in terms of victim blaming and saying that things might happen to them because they were dressed a certain way. And whenever something that bad does happen to a woman, it's not because she was dressed a certain way per se. It really is the person who attacked them, or the person that is responsible. They should not have done what they've done. So I think we have to be careful about that. But I do understand this idea of you know, self-presentation in terms of what you may see from your mother or your father or your friends or family or in the media. And I think how some young ladies might choose to present themselves, which may be in what we might consider less than tasteful way. It happens because maybe they don't have that much self-esteem in themselves, and so maybe they think that by showing all of their body parts that, you know, that's where they are, that's where they're putting their value in themselves, when it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. But I think that that's a separate issue from the harassment itself.
Now, when I see him at parties, he keeps a safe distance, like I robbed him of the first hook. Like I'm too much woman or something. Not to be taken lightly. Like maybe I'm better than him in bed, huh? Shoot, maybe I laugh at the size of his penis, cause isn't that what so much of this is about anyway? I mean, show me a man who goes out and gets the woman he wants when he wants her, and I will show you a man comfortable with the size of his dick. That's right, y'all. Some kind of power play. Some kind of anatomy shit. I'm not even playing around with you. Disgusting.
This project started about a year ago, and so most of the dancers have been involved in some way for this entire process. They were involved in the community workshops that led up to the performance, and then they were involved in the entire choreographic process. And they're all professional dancers who have danced with dance companies all over New York City, and they all have a particular connection to not just me, but this issue and dancing about, I would say, issues that are near and dear to women. I've also done versions of the workshops for high school students that are dancers. I've done versions of the workshop for college students in different courses. And really there is education built into this project, because we're educating people about what to do and how they can take action. This project itself is grassroots activism. And so we're teaching people how to take action against injustice against their bodies with this work.
If I had a chance to make a show on the youth channel, it would be called the J-Man Radio Show. It's going to be a show about having some sketch comedy, some playing live music, and also me and my friends are going to get together so we could talk about topics that's going on in the world. There's more to life than doing nothing, playing video games, watching TV. I mean, I'm here creating my own show. You should do the same thing.
Well, if I had a chance to make a show, I would make a show like a sitcom, sort of. It would be about people that deal with different issues, like primarily youth that deal with issues with their parents. It would have like 6 different, youth that have 6 different parents. That would be my primary goal, to try to show people that just because you may be a different race, everybody experiences different things with their parents and everybody could relate to it.
We started our actual rehearsal process in July 2011, and we have been rehearsing, I would say, between 1 to 3 times a week since July last year. Our rehearsals usually last about 3 hours, and during the course of that rehearsal, we learn new choreography, we have discussions about what it is that we're doing, we practice our steps, but more than practicing the steps, we also practice and talk about our intention behind the steps, because that is one of the most important aspects of this work. From the people who participated in the community workshops to the dancers themselves who are dancing this work, it absolutely has changed how they have seen themselves, how they have chosen to carry themselves through everyday life. And then it also has the power to affect change because it gets conversations started. And those conversations are what are going to catapult us into transformation over time. Dance for me is an absolute way of life. I have been doing it since I was a little girl, and I continue to. It is my career. I am involved with dance on every level, not only just being a performer. I'm also a choreographer. I am also a teacher. I'm also an administrator. I'm also an advocate for the arts and for dance specifically. Dance is not only how I express myself physically and emotionally, but it is how I understand the world. I have a real sense, a body sense, a corporeal sense, and that is my lens and my approach to life.
Well, I've been dancing since I was 6 years old, but professionally I graduated college in 2008, so professionally since then.
What college did you go to?
I went to Advocacy University on Long Island, New York. We did a performance at Joy Soho where we did a 12-minute excerpt of the Window Sex Project, and I think that was one of my favorites just because it kind of encapsulated the most important parts of the piece into one show, so that was my favorite one. But this is my first time doing the entire thing. I mean, it gets challenging at times because, we're physically moving so much and, you have to bring all the emotions and remember all the choreography. But at the end of the day, I do enjoy it because, we're bringing something to the audience that they don't see every day.
There's not another quite as sweet as you. I know I'll always love you. So lovable. I know she's lovable. Yes, she is. I know she's lovable. Oh, yes, she is. She's lovable, my.
was brought on to the Windows Sex Project in October, about halfway through the project, and yeah, so it's been about 6 months now. I really enjoy the women that I'm working with. Sydney is a really inspired choreographer, and she's just really a pleasure to work with. And it's really a special thing to be able to work with a group of women that's so generous and open and kind, so it's been lovely. I have been dancing since I was 3, and so that's a long time now. I started studying in studios when I was 3. I studied mostly ballet up until I went to college. I went to the University of North Carolina, Greensboro, and got my Bachelor's of Fine Arts in Dance, Performance, and Choreography.
Physical activity in school is sports, it's not arts. I have to say, at least not where I grew up. Physical activity was gym class and maybe cheerleading and maybe we had marching band, but like dance and arts were considered very much outside of school. I actually graduated in 3 years and I never got credit for physical activity, even though I was dancing 4 hours, 5 hours every night after school. Didn't matter. So really college was the first time I got to see art, physical art, be a part of an educational setting.
You know, this whole project has been gearing up for the National Anti-Street Harassment Week, which is what we're in right now, and it's big. I mean, this is it's a big message, and this is it's a big opportunity for us to present Sydney's work at a time when I think people are really ready to hear the message.
I think it starts at a very young age. I mean, a lot of us in this troupe, me included, teach children. I teach early childhood education. I teach early childhood arts. It's just fundamental to start kids off with an exposure to arts. If you make it a part of their life when they're 3, then it will be a part of their life when they're 20 and 30 and 40, and that's how we create a community that will be patrons of the arts and also will just be more excited and engaged in their world. You don't have to become an artist to want to engage with art, experience art, especially when you're so young.
And then there was the time I was in Chinese class and I said, 我爸爸是中国人, which means my father is Chinese. And my Chinese teacher actually stopped the class to say to me in English, really? So ever since then I find myself, I pulled out a photo to show her of my family. And ever since then I find myself referring back to what has literally become my race card to prove that yes, I really am Chinese. 我爸爸是中国人, 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 我爸爸是中国.
The show that I have is the Jose Show, where I produce it and I'm the host of it. The show is about youth nonprofit organizations that benefit young people, where I feature youth organizations that are working with the young people, that's doing tremendous work with these young people to get where they want to be in their careers. And the importance of this show is to make sure that young people get a chance to show off their talent and perform and bring out different discussions that they want to talk about.
Well, if I had a chance to make a show, I would make a show like a sitcom, sort of. It would be about people that deal with different issues, like primarily youth that deal with issues with their parents. It would have like 6 different, youth that have 6 different parents. That would be my primary goal, to try to show people that just because you may be a different race, everybody experiences different things with their parents, and everybody could relate to it.
Well, if I had a chance to make a show on the youth channel, it would be called the J-Man Radio Show. It's going to be a show about having some sketch comedy, some playing live music, and also me and my friends are going to get together so we could talk about topics that's going on in the world. There's more to life than doing nothing, playing video games, watching TV. I mean, I'm here creating my own show. You should do the same thing.
Just to work hard at whatever it is that you want to do. You know, the only thing that brings you to your goal or to your end result is through hard work. So I would say just always apply yourself in whatever you do.
That we all should show each other respect, whether you're man, woman, boy, girl, that we're all human, that you know, when we greet each other on the street, we should greet each other with respect. I think I would really like for people to just take a moment and maybe question when they feel themselves making those quick judgments, to just take a moment and stop and realize, no, you know, would I want someone to judge me that way?
I think to have a dream and keep working towards it, it may change a little bit or move, but the point that you could make a goal for yourself and work towards it gives your life so much more passion and direction.
There's power in telling your story, and I think a lot of people don't tell their stories because they're ashamed or they're afraid, or they just feel that nobody else has gone through that experience, when in fact so many people have gone through that experience. And so you're right in saying that you know, they might confide in a relationship or in you know, amongst close friends, which is a good thing, but we have to learn as a culture to tell our stories and to share our experiences, because the more people know about what is actually happening, the more able we are actually able to address the issue.
I see myself as tall. I see myself as unique.
I see myself as quirky. I see myself as seductive. I see myself as fearless. I see myself as nurturing. I see myself as a worker bee. I see myself as on the go. I see myself as open-minded. I see myself as a chameleon. I see myself as independent.
I would say move as much as you can, always, and think about how you see yourself, how you perceive yourself, and then project that to the world.
The type of show that I would like to produce on Youth Channel will be mini skits working with children, where we focus on physical activity and healthy eating habits. And this can promote early good eating habits for children, which the parents can also learn from tips that we show on this program.
Well, if I had a chance to make a show, I would make a show like a sitcom, sort of. It would be about people that deal with different issues, like primarily youth that deal with issues with their parents. It will have like 6 different, youth that have 6 different parents. That would be my primary goal, to try to show people that just because you may be a different race, everybody experiences different things with their parents and everybody could relate to it.
Well, if I had a chance to make a show on the youth channel, it would be called the J-Man Radio Show. It's going to be a show about having some sketch comedy, some playing live music, and also me and my friends are going to get together so we could talk about topics that's going on in the world. There's more to life than doing nothing, playing video games, watching TV. I mean, I'm here creating my own show. You should do the same thing.
The show that I have is The Jose Show, where I produce it and I'm the host of it. The show is about youth nonprofit organizations that benefit young people, where I feature youth organizations that are working with the young people, that's doing tremendous work with these young people to get where they want to be in their careers. And the importance of this show is to make sure that young people get a chance to show off their talent and perform and bring out different discussions that they want to talk about.